Hi, welcome back to Post TV Live from NAB 2013. I'm Randy Altman with Post Magazine. That's Mark Loftus with Post Magazine as well.
Thanks for joining us.
And we've got Cinedeck's Michael Forrester, and we've got Murray's Mark Rodanis. And these guys are going to talk a bit about not only the industry, but you have some new products, Michael, that you could...
Yes, we do. Yep.
Let's start. You guys have been coming to NAB a couple of years now. Onboard camera recording solutions that make it easy to get right into post afterwards. How about telling us a little bit about Cinedeck and then what's new for the show?
Sure, absolutely. So Cinedeck's motto is your workflow, your way. And what that means is the ability to take multiple streams, ingest those, creating multiple formats, your choice. So you have all your traditional editorial formats like ProRes, DNX, your JFIF resolutions, and those all can be recorded out to separate destinations. So it makes it very, very flexible as far as what you're ingesting, how quickly you're getting it in, what you're creating, and where it's going to. We have a couple different products. We have the Cinedeck RX3G, which allows simultaneous 2 inputs, and we have the MX model, which is a 4-input system. So with the MX, for instance, you can have up to 8 encodes going simultaneously in real time.
Is it fixed media, removable media?
It can be either. So internally we have SSD chassis, so you can have up to 8 terabytes internal, and you can also hook up through 10 gig E, 8 gig fiber, over gig E, any kind of removable storage, and we have USB 3 and eSATA available as well.
And new for the show, what are the new features?
So we've announced support for ARRI RAW, so we will record ARRI RAW with a proxy file, and that proxy file can actually have a LUT burned into it. So your proxies can go onto your ISIS, your Unities, ready for editorial with your color grade already applied to it. We've also announced enhanced deck control, so we can be used either as a master or as a slave device. So we can trigger decks to record, or we can be triggered by decks to record. LUT support is another big feature, and we've also introduced segment recording, or chunking, some people know it as. Funny name, but that allows us to, as we're recording, we can wrap the files in any user-defined time. So if you want editorial running 10 minutes or half an hour behind camera shooting, we can generate files that are loaded onto a Unity and ISIS, any kind of a SAN that editorial can pick up and start using as you're still recording.
And you'd mentioned that you're designing and manufacturing here in the United States.
We are. Our headquarters are based in New York, and the manufacturing is actually done in Illinois. So that reduces some of the shipping costs. It allows us to turn things around a lot faster than if we had manufacturing located overseas.
Now, Mark, you've used Cinedeck systems in a couple of different scenarios there. Maybe we could talk a little bit about how Murray's putting them in play.
Absolutely. Should I use it?
Yep.
Okay. We did a show for Fox called Stars in Danger, the High Dive. And the concept was basically taking celebrities, training them, teaching them how to be Olympic high dive artists. And either, depending how you look at it, either hilarity ensued or danger ensued. But it was a multi-camera shoot. I believe it was like 14 cameras, and with a broadcast truck. And we basically used the Cinedeck, I think it was like 8 or 9 of them, each recording 2 cameras. And the best thing about it for us was the ability to, as we said earlier, to record in 2 different places. You could have either recorded at full res or a proxy, but we chose to just basically mirror the signal and have both a primary and secondary. So when they called wrap, I was able to just unplug the SAS drives and walk out with a copy of the media. I did not have to wait for the truck or wait for a copy, and that alone saves thousands of dollars.
What would you have done in a workflow prior to that type of a solution?
I would have spent all night in the hotel making copies.
That's how.
Seriously, and I would have been miserable. So rather, I went out to dinner, had a fun time with the crew, and got on a plane the next morning, not worrying that my media was only 1 copy. So that alone was worth the price of admission.
So are you going to start using it on your other many TV shows as well?
Well, right tool for the right job. We do reality television. A lot of it is run and gun sort of documentary style production. I don't think it's the right tool for that. However, if you're in a control room environment, if you're in an outside broadcast truck environment, it's awesome. But it would be a little bit difficult to strap it onto the back of a camera.
Sure.
There are other solutions for that.
We actually do have a product launching, or we'll show the prototype around IBC timeframe, the FX model that will actually mount on the back of a camera.
And that'll be for these run and gun type of scenarios, or?
That's correct, yes.
Wow.
There you go, Mark.
There you go. One of the things that you didn't really you touched on but didn't really focus on is the fact that it records in DNX HD, ProRes and DNX. And that for us was a tremendous time saver because we were not transcoding. There are other solutions out there, either videotape or other file-based methods, but the fact that it actually recorded right to DNX was a tremendous help for us.
So that makes it easy to edit for you guys. What do you ultimately end up delivering for broadcast?
It depends on the network or the specs, but in our case, it's an HD Cam SR tape. And each network is a little bit different.
Okay.
And you're editing on Avid Media Composer now.
Correct. And talk about the connection between the Cinedeck and an ISIS, a Unity.
Sure. So you can actually have both Unity and ISIS hooked up together and running simultaneously, which we've had a couple of clients request. We are working on a plugin with another vendor to automatically check files in through Interplay to further reduce the errors that are associated with human operation. But the fact that you can just hook up directly to your ISIS and pump footage on there, that then your Avid editorial, your finishing Symphony guys, those have immediate access to those files as the camera's shooting them. It's brilliant. There's no faster way to work. I've been on quite a few shows where it's traditionally an on-set DIT as well. And the process of taking camera cards and processing those, you're always 4 or 5 hours behind camera, which is an issue when everyone wants to shut the lights off and go home and have dinner. So this alleviates a lot of that pressure. I could see some of these smaller RX units, for instance, being on a cart side by side with the traditional dailies process and guaranteeing editorial that, yes, you're going to have your files as soon as that camera shuts off.
At this show, you're hearing a lot about 4K workflows, but what's the reality of what you guys are doing? I mean, Mark, you're probably not shooting that.
We do reality television,
Yeah.
okay? So we get everything from iPhones to, 4K for us is not in the near future.
Okay.
But I do understand there's plenty of production models out there that do use it. And
Cinedeck, do you guys have an eye on that as well, or is it?
Absolutely. So we've announced that we'll be supporting the Canon C500 for IBC timeframe, and then also support for the Sony F55 will be forthcoming.
Fantastic.
Cool.
Before we wrap up, I just wanted to ask Mark to run through a couple of shows that you guys do. What should people be watching now?
Well, we literally invented reality television back in the early 90s with MTV's The Real World. All reality all the time. So we're still doing that. It's going into its 29th season on MTV. Yes, I'm that old. We do Project Runway. We do Keeping Up with the Kardashians. We do Bad Girls for Oxygen. We have a couple of new shows that are starting production this week. We do just a lot of reality that is out there.
Fantastic. Well, I know it's been a busy show for you guys, and I really appreciate you taking the time and sitting down and
Thanks
chatting
for
with us.
Appreciate you having us here. Thank you.
Enjoy it.
Thanks. So signing off for the moment, Post TV. We'll see you in a little bit.